Max Verstappen has been so consistent, as you guys see every single weekend. Another victory, the second straight victory at Paul Ricard. Checo, unfortunately, maybe not his best performance. Not sure how he felt after the race. What did you make of Red Bull's weekend?
Max was flawless, absolutely flawless, as you say. And really, we do need to highlight when he's driving that way, the fact that Red Bull pitted him early. It was a risky strategy because he then would have had to go to the very end of the race on hard tyres, having pitted on lap 16. That was a huge distance to go. He would have had to manage them really carefully. He had to do that anyway, but of course he had no pressure from Leclerc after Leclerc spun up. So Max drove a very good race. It would have been very interesting to see how he would have dealt with Leclerc had he stayed in the race, but it was very good. Checo, it was really one of those weekends where he went missing. In fact, the surprise was how good he was in qualifying, because with Checo, usually it's the other way around. He's off the pace in qualifying and he's on the pace in the race. But it's something that he wanted to address this year, and clearly he has, but maybe it's leaving some weaknesses elsewhere in the race, because that Red Bull, if you look at how easy Max had it up the front, again, like I said, on a fairly compromised strategy by pitting so early, Lewis never even got close or was a threat to Max. So for Checo to lose that place to George Russell, I know it happened under the weird virtual safety car ending, but still to lose that position, or even be in a position where he might lose that, and also not to challenge Lewis for second place, wasn't really good enough. But we've seen this with Checo before, and then sometimes he comes back and he puts in a great performance. But it is strange how at one stage this year, he almost looked like a title contender, didn't he? You know, we think of Monaco, that, you know, brilliant performance to go and win the race. Spain, where arguably, had he been allowed to fight Max, he would have given him a run for his money, potentially beaten him. Yeah, now it's just completely gone. And yeah, it's one of those frustrations with Perez that, you know, he just can't quite get the consistency there. The problem is he's going up against one of the highest benchmarks in F1, which is Max Verstappen. And I think ultimately that's the issue he faces.
It's interesting, isn't it? Because I think I really rate Perez, and I know Laurence does too. And I think it's similar to the situation you had with Bottas almost with Mercedes. You got very, very competent driver, very, very quick driver. But that is exactly the point, is both those guys went up against, you know, generational talents. And you often hear, and I'm sure Verstappen will get it in a few years if he keeps winning. People say, oh, he's only, you know, he's winning, he's in the best car. It's like, to win in the best car. I mean, and Charles is a great example. You know, Charles spun out in the quickest car of the race and didn't finish. To win and to be at that level every single weekend. I mean, I think there's a reason that Verstappen, since Ricciardo left, there's been all those teammates that have come up to Red Bull and have just not been able to compete. I think mentally, he must be so difficult to be a teammate of. You've got the same machinery, and he's just out there doing, you know, incredible things with the car, like Lewis was with Mercedes. We saw what happened with Bottas, and I've actually, for that reason, been pretty impressed with how Georgia started at Mercedes. But yeah, it was pretty deflating, because I was fully on the Perez bandwagon a few weeks ago. I was like, let's go, you know, Perez championship. But yeah, he just, you know, he's lacking in some of those big moments. And you think back to Spain this year, when they swapped positions, I think Red Bull have always kind of known that. I don't think they've ever thought we're going to have two cars here equally fighting for the championship. And I don't think that's a knock on Checo. I just think it's reality of how good Max is. So yeah, but it's a shame. But I think, you know, as a number two driver, quote unquote, probably one of the best there is, but I think that's probably all he's going to be. I think he'll win a handful more races probably, but yeah, I think that's kind of what you got to expect with Checo, is just that kind of roller coaster up and down.
Thanks so much for watching ESPN on YouTube, and for more sports highlights and analysis, be sure to download the ESPN app, and for premium content and live streaming, subscribe to ESPN Plus.